What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. The next two Avengers films that we're going into are, of course, Avengers Doomsday and then Avengers Secret Wars. Robert Downey Jr. is returning to play Doctor Doom, and although the Russo brothers introduced him as Victor, a lot of insiders state that he's not actually playing Victor. He is indeed going to be playing a Tony Stark variant, and this makes sense because why else cast Robert Downey Jr.? Yes, he's a great actor. Yes, he has great chops. Yes, he can play Doctor Doom, but he was Iron Man. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. People associate the two of them with each other. So why take an actor who is known for playing one of the most popular characters on screen of all time now, thanks to the MCU, and make him play another character if you're not going to link him back to being a variant of Tony Stark? I would imagine that is what is happening. And today we're going over a report that further supports this theory. And it talks about the origin of Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. And it also further supports my own personal theory that we are going to get a proper Victor Von Doom after the multiverse saga ends. Whether that's a soft reboot of the MCU or universes combining all into one, being one sacred timeline moving forward, I do believe a proper Victor Von Doom is coming after Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. And based off of the comments that I've seen, a lot of people would like this to happen, a proper Victor Von Doom eventually. But what this report says, and it's coming from Daniel RPK, an insider with a good track record, he was right about a lot for Deadpool and Wolverine. And what he reports is that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom is going to be from the same universe as the Fantastic Four. But here is something to know about this that is important. Based off of a leak that we have heard, a leak that sounds incredibly real, coming from somebody on the set of the Fantastic Four who reportedly saw a good majority of the script, according to that person, the Fantastic Four themselves won't be from that universe. We know the Fantastic Four is going to take place in an alternate universe. It's a retro but futuristic universe. The film's going to take place in the 60s, and from what we've heard, the universe that they're in this movie is not where they originally came from. According to this leak, they originally come from our main sacred timeline, the 616 universe. And I really like this idea of having them go to this other universe, whether they go through the negative zone or the quantum realm, however it may be, an experiment goes wrong and they end up in this other universe, which is where Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom originally comes from. So when they go into this other universe and they become a very popular superhero group, it would make sense that they would catch the attention of, let's say, Tony Stark. And even if this version of Doom isn't Tony Stark, but it is in fact Victor Von Doom, it still works because of the nature of how Victor is. He would still be very interested in the Fantastic Four. However, since Tony Stark is Tony Stark, it would make sense that him and Reed Richards would meet. But here's the big question, because based off of what we know at the end of this movie, Reed Richards and the rest of the Fantastic Four, including Reed and Sue's son, Franklin Richards, will actually end up in the main 616 universe. So the big question is, how exactly, if Doom is from this universe, how does he go from just simply existing in this universe where the Fantastic Four were from to being the big bad villain? Well, according to that leak that I previously mentioned, in this film, the Silver Surfer will come and declare that Galactus is going to come and devour this world. Well, the Fantastic Four have secretly been working on a multiverse portal to get them back to their original universe so they can go home. And by this time, they figure out how it works. But the Silver Surfer also figures it out, goes through it, goes into the other universe and comes back, and then goes and tells Galactus that there's an awesome other universe out there with a lot of planets that he can devour because apparently, according to the leak, he's kind of ill and he needs a lot of energy. Now, this person said that they didn't get to see the complete plot and the very ending was missing, but they did kind of see that the Fantastic Four do end up going back to their universe, but Galactus manages to make his way there as well. And this actually lines up with what Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus said, where he stated that the Galactus in our universe is not originally going to be from our universe. He'll come from a different one. So that all lines up. And it also most likely means that the future of Doom and how he becomes the villain of the entire multiverse saga probably stems from these moments in the Fantastic Four, these multiversal moments, because it looks like one of two things could happen. One is that the Fantastic Four, when they build their multiverse machine and go back to their original universe, in which this leak says that that is the 616 universe, and when they go back, Galactus goes back with them, the Silver Surfer goes back with them, and then Doom goes back with them. This could be how he gets to our main universe. And if they don't want to show this during the actual Fantastic Four movie so they can keep the focus on Fantastic Four and on the Silver Surfer and Galactus, they could even do this in a post-credit scene. During the movie, at the very end of it, the finale, the climax, they can have the Fantastic Four go to the 616 universe. They can defeat Galactus or not defeat Galactus maybe. But in the end, they put the Fantastic Four in the 616 timeline. Then in the post-credit scene, they reveal that Doom had actually discovered their multiverse travel machine, and he gets over into the timeline as well. Because keep in mind, the Fantastic Four does come out before Avengers Doomsday. It comes out July 25th of 2025, about a year before Avengers Doomsday comes out. So it makes sense to introduce Doom before Avengers Doomsday because that is what Marvel typically has done with their villains. They have built them up. So that's one option, but the other option is he doesn't end up in the 616 timeline, but he still discovers the multiverse travel device that Reed built. Because keep in mind, if they went through the device, in theory, in that universe, it should still be there. So perhaps when the Fantastic Four make it over to the 616 universe, Doom stumbles across their multiverse travel machine. Now, from here on out is where we really don't know how it's going to go down. The story of how Doom becomes Doctor Doom and the villain of the multiverse saga is still a mystery right now. However, I do stand by the theory that I've been talking about for a bit, where I think he's going to try and save the multiverse at first. Perhaps the universe where he is from is falling apart. 616 could be falling apart. Perhaps the entire multiverse starts to fall apart, and we hear about that in the Fantastic Four film. And if he is a Tony Stark variant, it would make sense that he would think he is smart enough to try and stop the multiverse from collapsing. However, whether he is Victor or Tony, both of them I feel would kind of go about this the same way. They would both think that they are intellectually superior to essentially everybody else, and they might believe there's only one way to go about saving the multiverse, and that is their way. Then anybody else who disagrees with them is simply in their way, and they have to get past them. That could be how the villain was born, but again, they could be doing this to try and save the multiverse, because that is actually what Doom does, the actual Victor Von Doom. That's what he does in Secret Wars. He actually tries to save the multiverse from collapsing by finding Molecule Man and trying to stop the Beyonders. In turn, he accidentally causes the first incursion that has ever happened. Then he would go on to take the powers of the Beyonder. Then that is where he would take the remnants of a bunch of different universes and create Battleworld. Then he would rule over Battleworld and become God Emperor Doom. I'm assuming something very similar is going to happen like this in the MCU, except I think Reed is going to build the multiverse traveling device, and either Doom goes through it with them, because perhaps they could be friends, whether that's Tony or Victor. Either way, you could say either are friends in this universe. So Tony or Victor would go with the Fantastic Four to 616, or Doom would simply discover the device after Reed and the Fantastic Four have already used it, which is almost more beneficial for Doom in that instance, because he could then use it kind of as much as he wants to do whatever he wants. And if the true evil side comes out, whatever he wants might be multiversal domination. If they really want to go a big, just pure evil villain route with this variant of Doctor Doom. But hey, that is my theory. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments down below. And if you think either one of these options will happen, let me know what you think about it. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest MCU news. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.